Recording. Looks like I'm recording. Okay. Okay, I think I'm recording now. People in the lobby. Let me admit all. Okay, Kinewe, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I asked the question, when are you submitting Mamochulu 5 and 6?
On Friday, sir.
Not Friday.
Phela angeke ngikhona ukwenza ukusubmitha ngilona. Angeke ngikhona ukusikena cause ziningi for module 1.
Okay, again, ngibona uze advanced assessment uzwa-drop ama-assignments ami ngithi. Sasa.
Yeah, mara ngikuzile wathi ngisikene and angeke ngikhone. Okay,
Alright,
ngiyenza kusasa.
okay, woza e-office, ufike wadrop kuphela. Washe
Okay.
lapha e-office.
Okay.
Batshela ukuthi ngawama ngithi.
Okay.
Alright. Okay, everyone is in Google. Let me explain. All right, so we back to this module, right? It says list at least 2 different types of reports often used in the business environment. Can you see this material that I'm on now? Knowledge questionnaire. Does that appear on your screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right. So list at least 2 different types of reports often used in the business environment. So the reason why I want to go through the material, the learner manual, right, is because we went through this last week. As I said, that we're looking at the business analysis, right, like the types of reports that you can send, and then the format of reporting. So that's why now I just want to go straight to the formative and then the summative, because we've covered the manual, the learner manual of this last week. So number 1 says list at least 2 different types of reports often used in the business environment. What type of business reports have you ever seen in the business environment? For me, on my side, I deal a lot with the client feedback report. I'm sure Courtney, what type of reports were you dealing with? Courtney, can you hear me? Okay, anyone wants to add any type of report that you can think of? So on my side, I said I deal with a lot of like client reports. So the thing says list at least 2 different types of reports often used in the business environment, right? So on my side, as I said, I deal with a lot of client feedback report. For example, if I run a class like this now today, I will have to send a report to, okay, who attended the class, and then how were the delegates, how did the class go? So I always do a client feedback report, right? So that's the type of report that you find in my environment or in my line of work. So my question is, what other type of report that you know of? Nqobile.
I think there's an inventory report in an organization where I think you report on the working material, maybe to the suppliers
Okay.
of the organization. And there's also a marketing report.
Marketing report.
Yeah.
Inventory report. Yes.
Yeah.
So those are the reports that you can find in a work environment, right? So Nqobile has helped us out with some of the reports that she knows, right? Inventory report, maybe inventory report like keeping track of the stuff or the orders that we have or the equipment that we have in our warehouse. and then marketing reports saying, okay, how is the company doing in terms of like marketing? And then on my side, I said I deal with a lot of like client feedback report. What are the other reports that you deal with that you can think of when it comes to in a business environment? Rivonia, what other reports can you think of? Okay, we have also sales report, right? How much sales we have done as a company. Like, so people that are doing sales, they always create like reports for that. Like, so you have sales report. And then what about the customer service report, right? We get things like that. So there are so many reports that you can find in a business environment, right? So what about like let's focus on the technical side because us like we're doing system support, right? So what type of reporting do you think we're gonna be dealing with a lot? Okay, I know inventory can fall under that part. Like so inventory report, we even on the technical side, we have to do that a lot because always we are in charge of the laptops that we have in our organization, in charge of the routers, the servers. So we have to keep track of the devices that we have in our organization. So we're going to report on that. So inventory reporting might be one of those in the technical side of things, right? So what do you think is the other reporting that you can find in the technical side? Letabo.
I think maybe we can pull reports from like a solution like Scout on the type of attacks that the company is under.
All right. And then also the other reports that we deal with is the network usage report. Okay, Courtney.
I was gonna say the same thing, the data usage and to see who
Yeah.
uses how much Wi-Fi and what it allocated to more and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we keep track of things like that, especially the firewall. If you go straight to the firewall will give you like a detailed information about who has used more of our data in our company, and then who's the top user. Like for today, if you want to find out like the top user for the week or the top user for the month, the firewall can populate that information for you. So you can go through that. So sometimes for that, your manager will request for information like that. So the good part of this one is that you don't have to compile it yourself. The firewall can populate the information for you, and then you have a report, and then just email it to the boss. So you don't have to do much on this one. You just go to reporting, and then you specify what exactly are you looking for. If you're looking for data usage per user, then you find that information on the firewall. Let me see if I can pull that information from the browser here. Let me see if I can. If I do have it on my system and then show you that. I'm trying to pull up a firewall dashboard, the 40 gate firewall. If I was at the office, I was going to pull up the information about the. I forgot the password for this. Is it user? Let me check admin. Stuck. Okay, I can. Next generation firewall. Okay, I forgot the password for this firewall dashboard. Yes. Let me check something quickly. Okay, Leventel is joining the meeting. Okay, as I was saying that the firewall, when it comes to reporting using the firewall, some of the information you can just pull up that information from the file, specify what exactly you're looking for, and then the firewall will just give you that information, and then you can pull up the report and then send it to the managers. Come on, where is that information? I forgot the password for the root for the firewall. Jeez. All right, it's fine. Let me just leave it. All right, back to where are we now? Question number 2, right? Let's see question number 2. Question number 2. Explain the importance of ensuring that sensitive business information remains confidential. Explain the importance of ensuring that sensitive business information remains confidential. Because most of the times you find that these reports that we create, right, like they carry like company sensitive information. So why is it important for us to make sure that information remains confidential? Especially the one that we pull from our network systems, right? You find that report is information about the IP addresses, the MAC addresses, of which if that specific information gets to the wrong hands, like people or hackers can use that information to hack our systems because they already have like the detailed information about our network. So on my side, I think when it comes to reports that is to do with the infrastructure, our infrastructure, we have to make sure that we protect that report, or we protect that document so that it won't get to the wrong hands. Because once it gets to the wrong hands, malicious users, then they can create like a payload that can attack us based on that they already have the information about our network. So that information must be protected. So what's your answer when it comes to this one? Explain the importance of ensuring that sensitive business information remains confidential. So my answer was that when it comes to technical reports, right, some of the reports, they contain information about our network, like especially who's the administrator, who is you find like the devices, the IP addresses range that we use, and then how the structure of our network, you find that everything will be on the report. So I'm saying that if that information gets to the wrong hands, then if it gets to the hands of a hacker, they can now use that to create a payload to attack our company. Right, so we say we have to protect that information by all means. So my question now is, what do you think, like not looking at a technical report, let's look at a different report. Maybe let's say what type of a report that we can look at, the inventory report. How, if that inventory report gets to the wrong hands, what do you think will happen? Okay, let me not focus on the inventory, any report. Just pick a report and then tell us, okay, if this specific report gets to the wrong hands, this is what might happen to our organization. Tisetso. Tisetso.
I think that might lead to legal expenses for the business because maybe one of the stakeholders might take legal actions for the company not to actually protect their information due to the
Right.
report.
So when it comes to this, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
That's what you wanted to say. Okay, no, I felt like I stopped you from saying something there. Okay, so here's another thing, right? From what Nobly just said, right? Like a company, as a company, we keep sensitive information, and then most of the times, the owners of that information, they are the ones that have to label the information. And then as the technical support team or the cybersecurity team, we have to make sure that we come up with ways of protecting that data. For example, we have so many controls that we can use to protect the data, right? So we have what we call the physical control, so that we restrict users from accessing that specific data. And then also number two might be the technical controls. Technical controls, we're talking about the firewall, creating like access control list, restricting people from accessing a certain data, creating permissions, right? And then number three will be like the policies. So we have so many controls that we can put based on the how sensitive the data is. But most of the times in companies, like the user, the owner of the data, for example, if the data is owned by HR, they are the ones that you have to label the data. We call it labeling the data. So what does that mean is, like, let's say if they label the data as confidential, or the labels are different. You find some is called confidential, some is called classified data, some is called need to know basis, and some is called there's so many labels that they can use, right? So as the IT department now, we have to come up with ways that we can control or protect that specific data. So there's three triads, or there are three things that we have to look out for when it comes to cybersecurity or securing data in any organization. Number one is called confidentiality, right? We call them the three triads. So confidentiality, right? So we have to make sure that we protect the confidentiality of the data. Number two is the integrity of the data, right? Integrity of the data, it means that we protect the access to that data so that people won't manipulate or people won't change, alter the data, right? So that's integrity. And then availability, we have data that is supposed to be available all the times. You get what I'm saying? So we have confidentiality. We have to protect confidentiality of the data, which is now the owner of the data will specify, will tell us, okay, the label for this data, it is confidentiality or it is classified. And then we protect the data accordingly, right? Sometimes there's certain data that is supposed to be public, but we have to also protect its integrity. What type of data is that? The data that is supposed to be public, information that is supposed to be public, right? But you have to protect its integrity. So integrity is the part whereby we don't allow people or malicious users to alter our data. If they alter our data, you find out, okay, it changes the message, or it can damage the company brand. So now I'm saying, what type of data do you think needs to be public but also protect the integrity of the data? In organization, think of about any organization, big organizations, right? Courtney?
Client details or client information, it can be shared with anyone within the organization, but not outside. Otherwise, like, people from outside can steal your clients.
Right, so that information must be protected by all means, right? And then the other thing is, if that information gets to the wrong hands or outside, like the client can sue us, right? Like they can take us to court and say, okay, we have something, an organization called the POPI Act, right? POPI Act, it enforces, make sure that every organization that collect user information, they have like the right equipment, the right tools to protect that data. For example, advanced assessment, we deal with a lot of like personal identifiable information. Personal identifiable information, we're talking about your name, your surname, your ID number, your home address. Maybe sometimes now, because we deal with a lot of like physically disabled people, and then that information that from the doctor's letter, it needs to be protected by advanced assessment, right? So POPI Act is an organization that makes sure that information like that, it is protected by any organization, right? So if we lose that information, then our clients can sue us based on that. So that's the information. So you find that, okay, on that type of information, we have to protect confidentiality of that information, right? So that's why I was saying, okay, when it comes to data, when it comes to information or systems that we have in our organization, there are certain things whereby you need to protect confidentiality, and then also integrity, and then also availability. So I will go back to this question whereby I say to you, there's certain information or data that is supposed to be public, but you must protect the what you call the integrity of the data, right? What type of data is like that, Litabo?
I think it could possibly be your web page, that it should be accurate. Otherwise, if you don't keep the integrity and somebody just twitches something, like maybe if it was .coza and
Yeah.
they change it to .com, it can lead them to another website where they can find malicious activity there.
Right, exactly. That's what I was looking for, right? You find that the information, our website is supposed to be public. So when we label that type of data, we say, okay, it's public, right? Like it's not confidential. Information about advanced assessment, that's why it's supposed to reach everyone. But what exactly do we need to protect from that specific data? It is the integrity, right? If anyone have access to the source code of advanced assessment website, they can alter information there, right? Change whatever it is there, and then the message that is going out to the public, it will be not exactly what advanced assessment intended to send out to the public, right? So that type of information, the owner of the data in an organization, they will label the information and tell us, okay, this is critical information. This is sensitive information. This is company proprietary data. This is classified data. So if it's classified, they'll tell you, okay, who's supposed to have access to that data, and then we create controls. I told you that the types of controls that we can create are the physical control. Physical control is whereby we put in some locks in the doors and then fingerprint biometrics, stuff like that, for people to access that building. So we're creating physical controls, and then also physical controls can be the cameras, can be different detectors that we can use in that area. That is physical, right? And then we have like the technical controls. Technical controls, we can use the firewalls, can use the IT intrusion detection systems, we can use different systems to enforce technical control. And then policies, they just give you a policy and tell you, okay, if you are in this department, you don't have access to different departments, right? You only stick to this data. So we can put policies that will kind of like deter people from doing the wrong things or accessing information that they're not supposed to access, right? Okay, back to the unit standard. Let me see. Okay, I wanted to show you something here. I have these. Can you see my Word document here that says Melusi Technologies, right? Do you see it on your side? I have to
Yes.
switch the screen. All the time, can you
Yes.
see? Okay, you can. Okay, cool. All right, so I have this report, right? This is, as you can see, this report is written confidential, right? So it is a hacking report. So sometimes companies might hire you, might hire your company to conduct penetration tests in their systems, right? Just to test how strong their systems are. And then what you will collect throughout that process, you will collect some information in terms of like how strong, you will find out new things. For example, maybe you find out, okay, how vulnerable their system is to attacks, and then you collect all that information. So once you're done with the pen testing process, you have to create a report and then take the report, give it to the client, right? So when it comes to that type of information, this information is supposed to be confidential. It's classified information. It's supposed to go to a specific person, right? Because if it gets to the wrong hands, you might end up losing, or the client might end up being hacked by different people. So you can see this information, we label it as confidential. Sometimes when we're sending it via emails, we have to encrypt the data so that when it gets to the wrong hands, the person will now need to have like the key to decrypt that, to be able to read that information. So you can see it, okay, the executive summary, we're telling the client what was our findings, which systems are vulnerable, and then what is it that they need to change to secure their environment, to secure their network. So that document, if it gets to the wrong hands, then any hacker can cause damage to the specific company. All right. All right, so we got to protect these reports. Okay, let me go back to this part. Formative. Okay, that was number 2. I think we have explained much on number 2. Okay, number 3, explain the importance of ensuring that information contained in the report is accurate, relevant, and up to date. Why do you think that information is relevant and is supposed to be contained? It says, okay, explain the importance of ensuring that information contained in report is accurate, relevant, and up to date. Why do you think is that? Good morning. Why do you think, Amo?
Having accurate information, it saves time for a company to deal with certain matters or events quickly.
Right. Thank you. You will see, like most companies, they make decisions based on these reports, right? We report to the company, and then they make the decision based on that. So this will ensure that the information can be relied upon. So every company will make a decision based on the reports or information that we give them. So if the information is not accurate, and then the company goes ahead and make a decision based on that information that we gave them, which is not accurate, then the decision that they're making might cost them in the long run. So you see, like, so that's why we really need accurate information, relevant and up to date, especially the reports that we give to the clients, because most of these organizations, they make decisions based on the reports that we give them. Like on my side, right, I said I deal a lot with client feedback reports. So if I give a report to the client and then I say, okay, so-and-so is performing like this in class, or so-and-so is not attending classes, the client might feel like, okay, they have to take you out of the learnership or replace you or bring in someone else. So if my reporting is not accurate, then you find that you end up losing the learnership, then they give it to someone else. So the reporting has to be accurate, relevant, and up to date, because most of the organization, they make decisions based on the information that we give them, right? Anyone with a different answer? Gugu, what's your answer? Gugu, can you hear me? Okay, Gugu can't. Fox, can you hear me? If you're on.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Okay. So that's question number 3, right? Let's move to question number 4. Explain the importance of ensuring that the relevant report deadlines are met. Explain the importance of, okay, let me just switch number 4. Question number 3 does make sense, right? It does make sense, right? It's clear. I don't think I have to expand or explain more on that. Explain the importance of ensuring that relevant report deadlines are met. Amo.
I can hear you just a little. I can hear you just a little bit. Please repeat what my net.
Okay, my question was, explain the importance of ensuring that the relevant report deadlines are met. There's the question at the top. Okay, Amo, you can answer. I think Kuku, like, she's having network problems there.
Okay. I think meeting relevant deadline support it increases productivity, and it also increases motivation within the company. For if production department is it's meeting their part, it also increases other departments motivation.
Right. So when we go to shucks, what did I do now? When we go to these meetings, right? There are people that check the minutes, right? And then some people would assign a task to say, okay, 1, 2, 3, maybe you have to configure a server and then add users to that server, or maybe Active Directory, whatever it is, you'll be given a deadline, right? So you find out like some of the meetings that are coming, the next meetings, they will be dependent on that deadline to be met, right? In order for us to conduct a meeting and then carry on from where we left off last time, we can only do that if the deadlines are met, right? So this will avoid delays, right, to other meetings or other processes that rely on this thing to be done. For example, if for example, let's say it's a Microsoft server, right, that needs to be deployed, and then if it's not deployed on time, you find out, okay, there is another company or another task that needs to be done after deploying Microsoft servers. And then if Microsoft servers are not deployed on time, then in the end, the other company that needs to come in and also add some other features to that service, it becomes difficult for them to come, or they end up being delayed. So if the deadlines are met on time, it will ensure that our business processes, such as meetings, etc., and then other tasks are not delayed, right? That relies on the availability of the particular information contained. So it will avoid the delays. So if the deadlines are met, I think point number one is we are just avoiding delays. As the example that I gave was like, okay, if we are deploying a Microsoft server system, right? And then we say, okay, once we're done with Microsoft server system, there's another company that needs to come in and then do something else. And then that company, that other company to come in, they are relying on Microsoft servers to be deployed first. So if we don't deploy the Microsoft server first, then if you don't deploy the Microsoft server on time, then it will delay these other guys in terms of like coming in and then building the systems and stuff like that. If it's reporting, we're saying, okay, companies make decisions based on these reports, right? If we don't do the deadline, if you don't meet the deadlines, then that means now it will delay the clients in terms of like making the decision as to how can they go forward with whatever that they're supposed to work on. So if we meet the deadlines, we're avoiding delays, right, on so many levels. All right. Any questions or any addition to that? Anyone wants to add something on that part? Well, let me move to question number 5. Identify 2 possible resources which may be required when compiling a report. Identify 2 possible resources which might be required when conducting a report. Identify 2 possible resources which may be required when compiling a report. A, funds for holidays. B, computer for research. And then C, staff for consultation. D, friends for friendship.
It's B and C, sir.
You go with B and C. All right. Yes, it's B and C. Sandile.
Yes.
You want to say something?
Yeah, I just said it. It's B and C.
Okay. Kinewe, you answering? What's your answer?
No, saving it B and C.
B and C. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely it's B and C, right? Okay. So moving on to, let's see, question number. What is the other question? Okay, write a report. Is NOSIPO online? NOSIPO from advanced assessment. Let me check. Shucks. NOSIPO from advanced assessment. Okay, NOSIPO is online. NOSIPO, can you hear me? NOSIPO, can you hear me? Okay, I think she just connected and then muted here. Okay, so here's what we're looking at now. Write a report, confidential information procedures. Conduct a research by consulting fellow team members and gathering information to report on the following key issues, which deals with confidentiality of information contained in business reports, right? I have overemphasized in the importance of protecting the documents that carry sensitive information. And first we said the owner of the information or the owner of the report, they will label that information as maybe for label it as confidential or sensitive or classified information or need to know basis. So our job as the IT department is to protect the data, and then we went through the resources or the options that we have in terms of like protecting a system or protecting a data. that we've been given or that has been labeled by any user, right? So now it says identify the correct procedure to follow when handling and or processing confidential sensitive business information content in reports. For example, right now, I just gave you an example of that hacking report, right, or pen testing report. I told you that that information, if it gets to the wrong hands, then a hacker can use that information, or they can just sell it to dark web, and then you find that your company is being attacked from all sides just because the people know the vulnerabilities of your network, because the report go to the wrong hands. So if we don't really protect that information, then it might cause serious damage to the organization. So how do we protect that information? First of all, we said when we're emailing that information to anyone, we have to encrypt the data, meaning that we change the state of the data, and then we send it to anyone. And then that person will send them a key to decrypt the information. So before they read, they open the document, they need to decrypt the information, they need a key. We're going to talk about the different types of keys that we can use when it comes to protecting, securing your data, right? And then that information, it must be given directly to the person who's in charge of that IT department or that project. And then now storage of documents. So I've compiled controlling access to documents. Okay, controlling access to documents. This is the part that I spoke about. I said in the IT department, how can we protect certain information in the department? We said we have like different controls that we can put in terms of like protecting documents, protecting data. When it comes to documents, we can put what we call the permissions, right? Whereby we restrict users from reading the information from a document, or we restrict users altering the information of the document, which protects the integrity of that data, of that information. And then also we said we can create policies that will support or just will control or tell the people what access do they have on a certain data, right? And then some of them, we have to move to a stage called shredding, right? Once the information is done, once we're done with the data, we have to shred that document. There are so many machines that we can use to shred the data. There are so many machines that can be used for shredding, right? Okay, here we have a problem when it comes to disposing data or shredding information. Some of the data that we have in our organizations, we might be, there are certain rules that we need to follow. For example, when it comes to our networks, our systems, right, or financial data, you find that there are other organizations that monitor us or audit us. So they will tell you, okay, this specific data can only be deleted or destroyed after maybe 1 year or after 2 years. So you will see that, okay, you have to still store that data, even though you're no longer using the data, but you have to keep it somewhere until a certain time. So there are organizations that will monitor things like that, right? Saying, okay, your financial report or the systems, how your systems work and stuff like that, this information must be kept until maybe for 6 months, and then you can destroy that information. So you have to go through that certain policies and check, okay, when do we have to destroy this data? So in short, or in summary, what I'm saying is there's certain data that we might be done with that data, saying, okay, we no longer need this specific information, but there are some external forces or external organization that audit us or that monitor us. So they will say that the data that we are working on, we can only delete that data, even though let's say we are done with the data, we're done with the information, we no longer need it. We cannot delete it because we're done, right? Because the auditors will come in and say, okay, where is this information that was done like maybe 3 months ago? And then if we deleted that information, we might come across as if like we were hiding something and stuff like that. So they will give us a policy, there will be a policy that really stipulates to say, okay, this information can only be deleted after 1 year, after 2 years, or after 3 years, right? So that's information called that can be protected that way. And then the other part, when it comes to disposing documents, right? We in cybersecurity we got something called dumpster diving. I'm not sure if you've heard the term before. Dumpster diving is whereby you've seen the small machines that they use to shred their documents. So let's say it's a legal document, or it's a law document, or any document that is sensitive information, and then they shred that document. So dumpster diving is whereby an attacker goes to the bin, right? Whereby you've thrown away all of the documents, you throw them into the bin, the shredded document, you throw them in the bin, right? And then the dumpster diver comes into the bin and then looks for all of the pieces of the papers, right? And then they put them all together until they are able to read the information that's written there, right? So what do you think is the best way of disposing data that you no longer need? Okay, Kidibone, your hand is up. Kidibone?
Yes, Melissa, I can hear you. Oh, my question was, can organization keep records on the data, probably if there is natural disasters? Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
Can the organization do what?
Can organization keep records on data? Probably if there's natural disasters, maybe they can keep records on data, because sometimes there might be natural disasters that can cause an organization to, then that can cause like maybe if there was a fire, in a
Yeah.
company, yeah. So could it be possible for an organization to keep a record on data?
Yeah, so we have what we call the word backup, the word side, the call side. So the call side is whereby we have, let's say our company is based in Cape Town, right? And then we also have like the backup side here that is ready in Johannesburg. So if there is a natural disaster happening in Johannesburg, we have the exact same data in Johannesburg, so we can just retrieve the information. So that's how they back up the data. So most of the times, to avoid natural disaster, we back up data from different provinces. Now these days, Microsoft has taken it to another level whereby the data, you find that your data now is stored in South Africa, and then another data, a copy of your data is stored in India, right? So there's no way that we can experience natural disaster from India up to here in Africa. So I think that would be the end of the world. But that data is usually protected. So we don't back up our data in the same area. For example, I can't back up my data here in Centurion and then another data, I back it up in Midrand. Like most of the times, big organization, their data is stored in different locations. These days, things make cloud has made things easy for us, because most of the companies, they use cloud, and then which is, you find that's Microsoft, it's Oracle, it's Amazon, and then most of those companies, their data is stored in different their data centers they are in different continents. So they might give you like a backup in a different place. And then again, when it comes to that part, talking about that part, each and every country has policies when it comes to data, right? South Africa has policies in terms of like what type of data. Let's say, for example, we are advanced assessment, and then we want to store some of our data in India, right? So South Africa might say, okay, this type of data or this type of tools, they can look at some of the tools and then they say, okay, you can't export these tools to another country because the law doesn't allow you to do that, or you can't. You find that, okay, we want to store our data in India, but the policies that they have in India, they're like quite different from the policies that we have this side in South Africa. So you find that, okay, the data that you're trying to store in India, you can't really store it there, but might be safe to store it maybe in South Africa. So you find that companies that deal with different data, they look at the country policies. So now, if they operate in South Africa, you find that their data is stored maybe in America because of the policies of the data that side. So they store it that side just to protect their data and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it makes sense when it comes to protecting the data, because you have like the policies for the country where they tell you to, okay, this data can only be if you are storing this data, these are the instructions or policies or rules that you have to follow. So we end up taking our data to a different continent or different country. Yep, Kiribone. Sandil, I'm coming to you just after Kiribone, right?
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, Melusi, thank you. Can I ask, is it possible that we can like add these examples in the report?
Yes, on this report, yes, you can like add all of these examples, because that's what we're looking for, like confidentiality of information procedures, right? As I said, okay, some other organization, they'll say, okay, fine, this type of data, as South Africa says, the law says we can't store this data really here on South African data centers. So we have to move it to somewhere else, so that because the policy in that country, they can like really support us, or they allow us to store that specific data there. So that's what organizations do these days. If like the one country's law is too strict in terms of like how they protect information, so some of them will just move it to a different country to avoid the laws in that one country. All right, Sandile.
Mr. Moro.
Sure.
So in terms of disposing the data or the information, so why is it important for the protocols to be implemented? Why is it important?
For disposing the data.
Yeah, so why is it important for you to keep the data for 6 months whilst you are not using it?
Oh, okay. So that's the part of the audit. Like, remember, I said the auditors might come in, maybe, let's say, okay, this specific data. So they'll tell you, okay, which type of data that you need to store for about 6 months, or like, let's say 1 year. So it's for audit. There are some other companies that try to avoid law or avoid police and stuff like that, avoid SARS and stuff like that, right? So some of their records, they quickly destroy the records, so that when SARS comes in or any organization come in for auditing, to audit them, then that information is no longer there. So for those organizations, they'll say, okay, this data must be kept until up to this time, so that when they come and do audit, they will be able to see, okay, like from January to December, this is what you as a company did. Unlike for them to come in and then they only see maybe a 3 months data, while you have deleted some of the previous information. So some of the companies, they try by all means to avoid that, because there are some they're doing dodgy things, or some they're doing shortcuts and stuff like that. So they try to avoid the law. So that's why the auditors will tell you, okay, this type of data, you need to protect it or store it until up to this time. That's for auditing purposes.
Okay, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So even though we're no longer using the data, we find that, okay, it's taking our space. But if the time hasn't come for us to like delete that specific data, then we can't. We gotta keep it there until the specified time, right? So these are the small things that maybe other organizations will try to avoid. For example, they will take that data and then store it in a different country, which has like different policies when it comes to that specific data. See? So they're avoiding small things like that.
So the reason to store this information, it's mostly all about the tax returns and what?
Yeah, it sounds like most of the times they will tell you, okay, this data must be stored until up to a certain, especially when it comes to finances. Yes, you have to follow their rules. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Sham. And also on the, okay, I'll look for that part. I think I have a document somewhere. Okay, let me just show you a copy of company policies that I think I do have one somewhere that I pulled up. Reports confidentiality. Okay, here it is, right? I have a document here. So confidential information procedures, right? So if you go to any organization, I wanted NOSIPO to tell us what are the confidential information procedures when it comes to the HR part. I don't know where. NOSIPO, can you hear me now? Because I know HR, finance department, they have their own procedures when it comes to data, like how long do you have to keep that information? Anyone who studied HR here in this group? Oh, here's information about that specific information, that the HR information. NOSIPO, can you hear me? Okay, I don't think she can. Nokulunga, you want to answer that one?
No.
Oh, all right. So let me go through the procedure, confidential information procedures of this university, right? So you will see, when you go to any company, they'll tell you that their procedures when it comes to protecting the data and things like that. So it says no confidential information should be either received or provided until a confidential non-disclosure agreement has been negotiated and executed by the Office of Sponsored Programs. This is limited signature authority. The faculty member has no authority to sign a confidential agreement. The university is obligated to treat confidential information in accordance with the negotiated terms and conditions of the confidentiality agreement. In most cases, the agreement will require that we treat confidential information with the same degree of care that we do our own, but in no case with less than a reasonable care. That an employee receiving or providing confidential information must always read the terms and conditions of the confidentiality agreement. So if you feel like, okay, now you are giving out confidential information, you just have to go through and then read what is the confidentiality agreement on that document, right? So all confidentiality agreements are negotiated so that terms and conditions may be different. If you do not comply with the terms, your information will be not protected and the other party will be able to use or disclose the information anyway she chooses or following. Okay. So there are some other projects that you will be part of, like, and then the company will make you sign confidentiality disclosure, something like that document, right? Whereby you are not allowed to disclose information about the specific project that you're working on, right? And then if you do, the company might go back to the document that you signed, and then you can be sued for that. So there are some projects that you'll be required to sign a confidentiality agreement document, right? So read the executed agreement, what's the confidentiality agreement, blah, blah, blah. So I will share this document, right, so that you know it, okay. And then other organizations, they say that if you don't know the label of the data, right, if you don't know it, okay, this information is confidential or is sensitive, proprietary information. So they always say, okay, treat that information as if it's confidential, right? So if you're not sure what's the label for that specific information, they say, just make sure that you treat that information as confidential. Okay, verbally disclosed information. If you discuss confidentiality information that is not provided in written form, you should identify it as confidential at the time of the discussion. It will not be protected as confidential unless you also send a written notice to the company. So I'll share this, right? And then so your assignment has to do with maybe with your organization or what we've just discussed now, talking about disposing of documents. Okay, my question will be in terms of like shredding documents now, right? Which one do you think is the best in terms of like making sure that the information, let's say the policy says, okay, now you can destroy the documents, right? And then do you think shredding is better than burning which one is best, like shredding or burning the document?
Yes, sir.
I can't hear you say. Nokulunga. Yakibon.
Shredding shredding your information can be like the right answer.
Shredding the information.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, on that part, like I think we have different shredding machines, right? There are some that when after shredding the document, someone can go back and pick up the pieces and be able to rebuild that document and then be able to read what is written there. But now, if the document, we're done with the document, why not just burn the document and be like, okay, that's it, we're done, we're out. Yeah. So I think that would be the best one. Like if you feel like shredding is not the best option, just like burn the document because you're done anyway. All right, where's the formative? All right, so are we good with this, what do you call this report? Do you know what's required from your side? Do you know how to go about answering this, right? I think I explained everything now. Any questions on this assignment before I move? No questions. It means that you guys understand that part, right? Okay. Let's go through this now. Quickly go through. Let's say it says list 2 examples of technical meetings and explain the potential purpose of each. So project review meeting. What do you think this type of meeting is used for? Project review meeting. Project review meeting, give an example. It says list 2 examples of technical meetings and explain the potential purpose of each. So we have like the project review meeting, and then we have technical review meeting. So project review meeting, give an example now. Why do you think, explain the potential purpose of this, project review meeting? Tisetso?
I think its purpose is to ensure that all the methods that are listed for the project are being followed, and then the budget that has been set for the project is also monitored.
Yes. So just exactly what you just said now, right? Like we project review meeting, you find that we just there to discuss, identify, evaluate, and report on the current status of the progress of the meeting, right? Status and or progress of the current proposed project undertaken by the organization. So whatever, we're just sitting down together as the team members or stakeholders to identify, evaluate, and then report the current status of the project, right? Are we meeting the deadline? Is there any change? The budget? Do we need to now revisit the budget and stuff like that? So that's the main use of the project review meeting. What about the technical review meeting?
Mr. Moyo,
Sure, Sandy.
can I ask?
Yeah.
So what is the difference between those two, project review meeting and technical review?
So the project, right? It can be any project. Okay, so we're done with the project review meeting. Now we're looking at the technical review meeting. Let's see what will be the difference. So project review meeting, we've been working on a project, and then I think, okay, they are the same. They look the same, right? Technical review. So we're going to be also discussing, identifying, evaluating the current technology deployed to produce a particular product or service in the organization. But technical review meetings, it might be like, let's say maybe we just made like a small change in the organization, right? A small technical change, or we just added a firewall, right? So we're just coming back together to see, okay, how did the firewall affect our system, or how did this new system, the new firewall that we have now in our system, how is it affecting the entire network? Right, so it's kind of like a technical review. It's not the project review meeting is whereby like we have like a big project. It's maybe we have started like we're building like a fresh network from scratch, a network from scratch, right? Of which now we're going to be talking things like our budget. We're going to be talking things like different stakeholders coming together. But on a technical review meeting, you find that it's only technical people only, right? And then we're just looking at maybe one change that we made to the network, and then we want to find out what exactly happened to the system. Did this new change affect our system in a positive way or negative way? And then the project is whereby, like, you find we have people coming from finance department, we have people coming from maybe different departments in a project review meeting. So you might have like different people on that meeting. But on technical review, most of the times you find that we only have like the technical people. I think that would be like the slightest different from the two. Does it make sense, Sandy?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because on the project, as I said, okay, the players on the project review meeting might be coming from different departments, right? Because the finance need to note, okay, how much money are they going to be pumping out on this project? And then you find that finance needs to note, okay, how much money is the company going to benefit from this? And then you find that maybe we have like the CEO, the manager, whoever it is from different departments coming in for this project meeting, right? And then technical, basically you find out it's only us, the technical people, talking or looking at the changes that we made on the system and then trying to improve them and stuff like that. Okay. All right, technical review and then project meeting. Okay, number 2. Are we good with the 2, right? These 2 examples, we know now the difference, right? So we can be able to tell, okay, what is the potential purpose of the 2? Okay, number 2, list 3 examples of different leadership styles used in meeting procedures. Oh, this is the part whereby we go to these meetings, right? we find different people, different leadership skills. So it says list 3 examples of different leadership styles used in the meetings procedures. Courtney, any leadership style that you know of that can be found in meetings? Kidibone?
Oh, Melissa, I just want to ask if autocratic leadership style can be used in a meeting.
Yebo, kindly break it down what it means there. I need that part there. I was looking for that one also.
No, I'm just asking. I can't remember the concept well.
All right. So I think autocratic is whereby, like, we have a detector, right? Whatever I say must go, right? So even though we are in a meeting, but that person, whatever they say, we have to all like go with that. That's the autocratic type of leadership, right? And then yeah,
Okay. Oh, like using the Mugabe.
the type of yeah,
Oh,
where he's a
okay.
detector. Like it doesn't matter what other MPs think or other team stakeholders think, right? But whatever I say, it must go. Yeah. All right. And then the other one would be democratic, right? So now we know what that means, right? Democratic, like we listen to other people's views. If I'm the team, if I'm the one running the meeting, then if my leadership is democratic, that means I listen to everyone's input, right? And then what's the other one? Is that the two, are they the only styles that we find in leadership? We find in meetings. What about the facilitative? What does that mean? Facilitative. Anyone who wants to answer that one? Luentel, you've been quiet, bro.
It's 505.
This one is yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think facilitative?
I can't hear you properly.
Okay, my question is, what do you think is facilitative leadership style used in meeting procedures? Like, what do you think is it when you're saying this leader now right now is doing a facilitative
Come again.
leadership?
I can't hear you properly. You're cutting.
Okay, maybe your network on your side is not
Facilitating leadership.
all right. Who else can I call out now? Where's Kuku? Kuku. Now come on, you've been quiet, man. Is this the network?
I can hear you, but is it like you cut in between, but I can hear you. So like you're cutting disconnected, but I can hear you bits and pieces.
Is it my network? Kidibone, can you hear me quite clear on your side?
Yes, Melissa, I can hear you.
All right, sure. And Nobile wants to answer this one. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The facilitative leadership, I think it's the one that encourages a participative in a meeting. And also, I think he is also stimulating creative thinking through documenting, brainstorming ideas, and so forth.
Jebo, that's it. And thank you. And Nsiga, you want to add? Nsiga, your hand is up. You want to add on that? All right. Basically, that's it, right? Facilitative, encourage the participant to bring in their input, and then you're also taking their inputs, right? It's not all about you as the facilitator, right? As like now, right? Like I think I'm doing facilitative meeting, right? Whereby everyone is allowed to say something like your input, your own ideas, what you think about this topic, and then you participate and stuff like that, right? All right, number 3, explain the importance of conducting a follow-up after the completion of the meeting. Why do you think that is important to do a follow-up? Why do you think it's important for us to conduct a follow-up after the completion of the meeting? So here's the thing, right? During the meetings, there are going to be some tasks that will be assigned to different people. Okay, before I explain, Courtney, you want to say something?
To make sure that your audience understands what you were trying to tell them, and if not, then you can go over it again and cover up what they don't understand. Yeah.
Exactly. So that the next time we have like a productive meeting because everyone understood what exactly we're talking about, right? Kidibone, what's your point? Want to say something there?
Yes, my point would be, can we write a feedback, can we write a feedback, can we write a report on the follow-up of the meeting?
Can we write a report?
Yes, like when you say like to make a follow-up after a meeting, so I'm saying that can we be able to write a feedback on a follow-up in regards to following the meeting?
Yeah, we can. Like, let's say we have given everyone the tasks, anything to do, and then we do a follow-up. Now we note, okay, so the document or anything that we need for our next meeting, it is already prepared because we did like a follow-up, and then we have a feedback. We say, okay, especially like sometimes you find that we write the meeting, the minute, what do you call minutes, meeting minutes, right? And then there was someone who was taking minutes during the meeting, right? And then we look at that and say, okay, this is the task that was given to so and so. And then we kind of like follow up and then we get like a feedback from everyone so that when we are going back to the meeting, right, the next meeting, we know, okay, maybe the documents that are required for the upcoming meeting, they are ready, or let's say the task that was supposed to be completed by someone else that was given to someone else to complete. When we going to our next meeting, we know, okay, everything is done. So yes, like it makes it easy for us. Okay, so here's my answer. This will ensure that you perform the post-meeting procedures that ensures that the relevant documentation is produced as a result of findings, conclusion of the meeting, and then to maintain accurate records thereof. So yeah, we can do a feedback report. We can also follow up on the members, find out, okay, are they done with any of the tasks that they were given? If they are not, what exactly are they struggling with? And then if they need help, then we help them out so that when we go back to our next meeting, we know, okay, the task that was allocated to different people on the previous meeting, they've completed those. All right, number 4, explain the possible impact that insufficient preparations could have on the success of the meeting. Let's start with the facilitator or the chair of the meeting. If they come into our meetings and then they are not prepared, how can that affect our meeting? Yeah, Sandile.
Yeah, the meeting will fail.
It would be like a waste of time, right?
That's all I can say, because there's this saying that goes like, if you fail to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So anything that is unprepared, it will fail.
Yeah, boom. You find out it becomes like a waste of time, right? Like everyone would be, we don't have an agenda. We don't know what we are here for. We like the chair is not prepared, is not ready to run the meeting. Like, so definitely it will end up like it's a meeting that won't be productive at all. Right. All right. Anyone with a different answer before I move to the next question? All right. So we have these terms that we're going to hear a lot when it comes to meetings, right? Explain the meaning of the following 2 meeting conventions often used. The seconding. What does that mean when it comes to meetings? Evans.
Seconding is when you are agreeing with someone.
Right. Someone just made a point in the meeting, and then you want to second that. I said, okay, yes, I'm off that idea. I support that idea, right? I'm seconding. I'm saying, okay, yes, the idea is good. We can go ahead with that idea. That's seconding, right? I
Yeah,
am for that idea. Yeah.
and moving is when
Yeah.
they're already covered with information that they already said.
Come again.
Moving is when like everyone is covered from that information, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we had Evans, we had like maybe Sandile making a point, and then Evans comes in and then second that point, right? And then moving will be whereby, like we say, okay, we all of us like we agree, we're fine with that, and then we move into something else on the meeting, right? So that's it. Kidboni?
Oh, Melissa, a seconding can be based on the leadership style. Like if probably if you're in a meeting, then a meeting is being conducted by a person who has like an autocratic leadership or a facilitative leadership skills.
Right, so you can find things like that. But a detector, remember I said a detector, like it doesn't matter what you say, right? You second each other on the meeting, the detector doesn't care. Like they just go ahead with whatever their idea is. So you just go into the meeting to listen to the detector telling you, okay, this is one, and then also you have to agree that's one. Like this is two, you all agree, right? So yeah.
Oh, but like if like right now we saying that when we have to second a person and if you have like ideas and opinions that you want to share, so how do you go about trying to convince a autocratic leader to take your views and point?
That one, remember we said like he comes into the meeting to make sure that what I say, everyone agrees. Some of them, in fact, that they second his idea, not just because the idea is a good idea, but maybe in fact that's out of fear or out of like losing their position and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily that the idea is good, but it's just that because maybe they want to feel like they're part or supporting that person, you know.
Okay, but sometimes
So,
you cannot.
yeah.
But sometimes you can. I'm saying that, Melissa, but sometimes you cannot always agree with your boss. Like if like you see
Yeah.
that what he's saying or she's saying it's totally
Wrong.
not wrong, then you don't always agree. You only agree to disagree.
Yeah. Courtney. Thank you, Kidbone.
Thanks.
Lucy, even in that case, like if you and maybe your boss don't agree, then you'll get a third party involved, like a neutral person, and then that's when they'll like vote which option is the best way to go or whatever.
Yes, always bringing in a third party makes things easy, like because they will also try to listen to both of your sides of the story, and then also looking at which one will be more make more sense for the organization, and then we go for that. Yeah. So we need to find someone who's neutral, right? Someone who's not maybe friends of any of us, the two that are arguing. So bring in that person, and then they will look at that and then tell us, okay, which one will be, which one is the base idea. And then go with that based on the company requirements and then how it can benefit the company. Thank you. All right, basically we all understand the seconding part and then the moving part, right? So I know when it comes to acrobatic and then the detectorship and then the facilitative, those are different leaders or different leadership skills, which some of them becomes difficult to be part of a meeting that you find that it's only a detector, like so. Yeah. All right. Number 6, explain the importance of the person taking notes to have a technical understanding of the meeting content. Why is it important for us to take notes? No, Sipo. Why is it important for us to take notes in a meeting?
So that we can refer when we're having another meeting on what we talked about the last time.
Yes, thank you. We've been looking for you, man. Like we've been asking you questions and then you were quiet. Chisetso.
I think it helps us to understand. It helps us to summarize the meeting points and be able to understand them better.
Right. So most important part is it helps us summarize, and then also it works as a point of reference, right? Like say, okay, these are the things that we spoke about, and then Evans was given a task like 1, 2, 3, right? Did he complete that task? And then reference, and then summarizes. So that's those are the points, or that's how important the taking of minutes in a meeting is, right? So this will ensure that the notes can be summarized where appropriate by applying the relevant technical understanding of the content. So yeah, we can use the document as a referral, right? To say, okay, this is what we spoke about, and then we can also use it like just to summarize our meeting. Amo.
I want to ask, wait,
Amo, I couldn't hear you. You said?
I was saying Wesley Tabo. Still alive, that guy.
Letabo was connected. I don't know what happened. Like, oh, he's online. Like, he's quiet today, man.
I'm having trouble here. I had load shedding and I had to buy data.
Oh, he's back online now.
Yes.
All right. Let me see. What's the next question? Okay, number 6, fine, right? We're good with number 6, right? And then number 7, identify 2 examples. So Nosipo, coming back to you, man. We had a question here. Nosipo, she's still online. Nosipo, can't see. Okay, she's not online now. Can't see. All right. Identify 2 examples of relevant. Shucks, what is this now? All right, identify 2 examples of relevant decision-making processes, techniques from the options below, which could be deployed in a meeting situation. Choice A, voting. Choice B, it's lotto. Choice C, consensus. Choice D, raffles. Anyone wants to? What's your choice there? Courtney?
It's B. I'm joking. It's A and C.
It's which you're going with what?
A and
A.
C.
A and C. All right, Evans, your hand was up. Which one are you going with? Evans, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Which one are you going with?
For now, voting, because I was still trying to figure out some other answers.
All right. Okay, your first answer is A. Gidbone?
Well, Lucy, I wanted to say another Kadla coming.
Wow, this. No,
Sandile? Sandile, which one are you going with?
A and C, sir.
A and C. All right, we all agree it's A and C, right? Okay, on my side, I'm good with that, right? So question was, identify 2 examples of relevant decision-making processes, techniques from the options below, which could be deployed in a meeting situation. Gidibone said Nkandla style, right? Which would be the option E there. All right, assignment number 2. Conduct research by consulting fellow team members and gathering information to report on the following requirements when chairing a meeting. Provide a short description, summary of the requirements of each of the following. So now, okay, you're chairing the meeting. What are the things that are required for you? So importance of members agreeing on the meeting rules and guidelines. Why is it that important? So you're gonna outline that or write that one down. And then understanding of suitable meeting conventions. How is that important for you to understand, like maybe the dictatorship or the what do you call facilitative, all of those three methods, right? And then information which should be contained on the meeting agenda. Why is that important for you to know the agenda of the meeting before we even go to the meeting? The type of follow-up actions required after the meeting is completed, right? So what type of follow-ups do we need to conduct? So you just have like to point out, so just one page going through these, right? Importance of members agreeing on the meeting rules and guidelines. So you just gotta like go like maybe let's say if the members don't agree on anything, we might end up like maybe taking long on our meetings, right? Because everyone's still struggling to come up with or to agree to one point and stuff like that. So you're gonna go through all of those points, right? And then submit your assignment. All right, so that's assignment 2. Any question on assignment 2? So basically things that are here, we have covered them. We're just going through them just now. But now we have to put them on a report. That's the formative. I think we're done with the formative. Any questions on the formative? Before I move to the summative. Okay, there's no hand up. Let me quickly move to the summative. Question number 1, identify the correct purpose of each of the following reports. Explain how they provide value to a business. So now basically what you do is you choose any type of report, right? For my side, I will say client feedback report, right? And then I will explain the purpose and the value of the client feedback report. Or if you want to do like a budget report, you will choose that budget report and then explain the value and the purpose of the budget report, right? Proposal report, any type of report, just choose the report, just write down. Let's say I'm going for a client feedback report. I'll write here client feedback report, and then I explain the purpose and then the value of that report. We have gone through different reports and then we explained the importance of those reports. Is number 1 clear? So report, you choose your report and then write the purpose of that report. So Courtney, let's say you choose client feedback report. You were dealing with a lot of like the client feedback reports, right, at advanced assessment. So what is the purpose and value of let's just give them an example. What's the purpose and the value of the client feedback report that we always give out to the clients, email out to the clients?
The client feedback report shows the progress of the learners, the monthly progress of the learners and how they're doing in the duration of their learnership, how they're coping with the learnership, and any specific comments from the facilitator that maybe the learners need help or need to be taken up with higher authority if need be.
Right.
They like to get feedback on the learners and stuff because they invested in the company. So yeah.
Right. So so Courtney will write here client feedback report, and then that's the purpose and the value of the report. Because the client invested on those learners, right? They are the ones that are paying the learners. So they will want to find out or want to know the progress of the learner. Are they facing any challenges? Anything that's happening with the progress of the project? All of that information the client wants to find out. Right. So that's an example that we're just giving you now. Client feedback report on this side, and then on the side, what's the purpose of the client feedback report? All right. I think it's clear there. And then identify 2 appropriate information resources when compiling. Okay, can someone read that for me? I'm tired of reading, man. Who wants to read for us? Gidbon, you can read.
No, Melusi. Melusi, I wanted to answer the question on the client
The first
feedback
question.
report.
Yeah.
Yes, can I? Oh, I wanted to add that, since you have given us the assignments, at the end
Yeah.
of the assignments, there's this part where it's written. It asks us learners, how did we tackle the assignment? Did we face any challenges? Yeah, I wanted to say that.
That report.
Yes.
So you
So
can use.
we can
Yeah.
use the assignment sheets to write on the client's feedback report. It can be helpful because these assignments ask us how did we which problems did we encounter during writing the assignment.
Yes, you can write that one down there. So write it on the side on the report, and then the purpose and the value of that specific reporting. Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyone to read question number 2? I'm kind of tired of reading now. Okay, if I don't call out people, no one will read for me. Sandile, you have a question or you want to read?
Yeah, I will read.
Okay, sure. Sorry, what did I do now? Go up. Yeah, sure.
Okay, identify 2 appropriate information resources when compiling financial report in your organization and explain the correct organizational procedure which should be followed, obtaining and distributing such confidential information.
Right. So basically that's the question. So you need like source A. You go for an example, like maybe say an accountant, right? So let's say identify 2 appropriate information resources when compiling financial reports in your organization and explain the correct organizational procedures which should be followed to obtaining and distributing such confidential information. So for example, you say maybe department, accounting, finance, whatever, and then you explain how that information is supposed to be protected, or the procedures that the organization has put in place to protect that specific data. Or you can, source B can be the HR department, right? Pay slips or whatever it is. And then when it comes to pay slip, what's the procedure? Let's ask Nosipo. Nosipo, are you still online? Or Nosipo Chongo, like what's the procedure? What's the policies when it comes to distributing pay slip to employees? Is there a policy, is there a procedure that needs to be followed, or we just receive the pay slips and then give it to people like that? Nosipo?
Yes, yes. Here we don't have a procedure, but then when we receive the payslips, then we just have to make sure that we're giving it directly to that person, and then they have to sign for it.
Right. So you see, okay, so your source B, to answer that question, source B will be maybe HR, and then maybe you say pay slips, and then you specify the policy or the procedure when it comes to that specific information. How do you protect the information? What's the policy? What's the procedure of any organization? So back the company that I used to work for, pay slips were sent by emails, and then each file was encrypted so that only you, the owner of that payslip, had the key to decrypt that information, so that even if it gets to the wrong hands, they need the key. Or it can't be a passphrase. It can't be like the key that is given to you, the digital key given to you to just read that information. All right. Is there someone? Okay, non-labels. All right, so you look at the sources, right? We say source A might be accounting, the finances, whatever it is, right? And then look at the policy and procedure. Just check online or ask any organization, what's the policy and procedure when it comes to protecting that specific information. So procedure to handle and distribute confidential information, confidential financial information. Then you specify down here, what is the procedure to handle that, right?
Mr. Moy.
So
So in terms of I would like to add in terms of the payslip.
Yeah.
So some organization will send you an email that has a link. So the link will take you to the website where you will have to log in using your employee numbers or your password. So in order to access your payslip.
Yep, you see, so yeah, so that's another way of protecting that information. They know that you're the only one who has like maybe your username and password to log into that site. So only you has access to that, right? So most companies, they don't do like the hard copies, coming to you with the hard copies and say, okay, here's your hard copy. It's only the soft copies, and then they're encrypted, or you use your own username and the password to access that information. Thank you, Sandile, for that. So that's the policy and the procedure. That's their way of trying to protect that information or making sure that the information gets to the correct person. So basically on number 2, that's what we're looking for, right? You can see there it says procedure to handle and distribute confidential financial information. So right down there, you're going to write down the procedure to handle that specific information, right? So you can choose, your sources might be accounting, your source might be HR, your source finance department, or any department, and then specify, okay, what do they say in terms of like handling a specific data or specific information that you have been given. All right, any questions on number 2 before I move to number 3? Okay, number 3. Is that you have a question or contribution? Okay, something is wrong here. I don't know what is this. What question am I on now? Question number 3. Okay, explain the importance of meeting organizational deadlines when compiling reports. I think we have also answered this question before on the formative, right? Anyone wants to answer this one, number 3? I think we had like a similar question on the formative side, right? Kidibone, you want to answer this one?
No, Melusi, I wanted to add a contribution to what Sandile has said. Like I wanted to ask in regards to his answer of when he said that some organizations send you a link into your email address so that you can log in and use that link. So which department is that, if I may ask Sandile?
Okay, can I answer?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So every department, so each organization has its department that is in charge of the payslip, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's HR or maybe that certain department. I don't know which department specifically, but that department that is in charge of payslip, it's the one that sends the email that has a link.
Okay, thanks.
I know companies like Net1 is the HR department that sends out the link, right? So you receive your payslip via the HR, and then advanced assessment, you receive your payslip via the HR. So yeah. All right. Number 3, explain the importance of meeting organizational deadlines when compiling reports. Anyone to quickly answer this one? I think we have gone through this one on the formative material. Anyone to answer this? Luentel, why is it important to meet organizational deadlines when compiling reports? Okay, Kidbone.
Oh yes, Melusi, I wanted to say that deadlines are meant to avoid delays.
Avoid delays, right?
Yes.
And then Courtney, why is it important for us to make sure to email out the client feedback reports to Lisa on time?
So that she also sends it to her clients so that she can also send it out on time and not be behind and make the client upset and wait for their stuff.
Right. Thank you. So to avoid delays, right? And then the thing with these reports, right, you find that it's not only one department that relies on this specific report. For example, the client feedback report, right? We report, you find that the facilitators report to E2QA, to Anti-K, right, which is the E2QA, right? And then Anti-K also reports to someone else, and then that person that they report to also reports to someone else again. So if there is a delay now, it affects the entire process. Or the client, the one that is really paying us, in the end, they can get upset with, okay, they're not getting their reports on time. And then now, which affects their planning. Remember, we say these people, they make the company decision based on these reports, right? So if you don't send out the reports on time, it can affect the planning of the client. Yeah, Sandile.
Mr. Moyo, I wanted to add on that from the formative day, so the deadline part, ne?
Yeah.
So in terms of the client, so if you send your reports or your any work during the before the deadline, so you can easily gain the client's trust and
Exactly.
yeah, and loyalty.
Yeah. So client, like especially the client will be happy if they receive their reports on time always. Like they don't have to ask you for the reports. So before even the deadline, if you can send the reports to them, then that will make the client happy, right? They don't need to be calling you and checking up on you to, okay, where is my March report? Where is my June report? You see. So essentially said that the client will tend to trust you, or they'll want to work with you in future. And then also they become loyal to, they know, okay, they always get what they're looking for from your company or from your department. They always get it on time. So the client will really want to work with people like that, that report, always make sure that the reports are out on time. Courtney?
And then also, some clients can recommend you to their other business partners, and then like advanced assessments can like expand, and we can reach other companies because they would want to work with us if they hear good reviews from other business people.
Thank you. Referrals, right? If the client is happy, it'd be like we're cutting costs on marketing, right? The clients, they kind of like the one now marketing us, or the one that are referring us to different clients because of the service that we're offering them. So thank you for all the points that have been said on this. There's someone, the mic is on. Who's this? All right. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for the inputs on this answer, question number 3. All right, number 4, explain the importance of understanding the information needs of the organization. The question is kind of like vague. Explain the importance of understanding the information needs of the organization. Explain the importance of understanding information needs of the organization. So this one basically we can go back to that part where we said the organization, in order for them to make any decisions, right? They rely on these reports, right? Sometimes these days we have like the AI, artificial intelligence, whereby they collect information digitally and then they report back to the client. They report back to the client or the organization, and then the organization will make decision based on that. So it is important for any organization to get this information so that they can be able to make any decision. Anyone with a different answer for number 4? It says explain the importance of understanding the information needs of the organization. Okay, my son is awake now, so I think he wants to join the meeting. Okay, let me quickly go through this. Okay, that's number 4, right? Let me move to unit standard 114051, conduct a technical practitioners meeting. All right, let's see this. Ta-da-da. Hey, but what else, man? All right. Number one, describe the following technical meetings and their uses. Contract meetings. What are they used for? Contract meetings, what are they normally used for? Describe the following technical meetings and their uses. Contract meetings. Technical meetings, contract meetings. So contract meetings, yeah, Kidbone.
Oh, I wanted to say that contract meetings are used for probably when you are employing your staff members. Yeah.
But on this part, I want us to lean more on the technical meetings, like on the technical side of things. Because when we're employing staff, we are more on the HR side. So I want us to be more on the technical side when answering this question. So contract meetings, okay, let me just give you an example. Contract meetings, it's a good example that you gave. Contract meetings might be done with the HR whereby we maybe employing someone else and then we're giving them like their contract to say, okay, this is your working hours, this is your month that you're going to get paid monthly. So basically, when this comes to our side, when it comes to our contract meetings, technical side of things, right? We're talking about like the service level agreements, right? Whereby we tell the client that we are going to implement or deploy a server or do networking on their side, and then this is the service level agreement. So on the contract meetings, what you can find is the SLA, telling the client, okay, this is our service, and then we are committing to this service using that SLA. So that's what you're going to find when it comes to contract meetings. So I wanted us to lean more on the technical side of things, not on the other departments. Yeah, Kidboni?
Oh, Melissa, what is SLA? Does it has an abbreviation or is it like a word on its own? Like I don't understand.
So SLA is service level agreement. So this is an agreement between a client, between a service provider and then a customer or a client. So for example, we're saying, okay, as advanced assessment, we're going to provide technical services to ABSA, right? Meaning that we're going to send maybe maybe 10 of our technical people to be at advanced to be at ABSA, and then we sign a document that states, okay, this is going to be our response time in terms of like solving problems in their environment. So we sign that SLA that there's always going to be one of our technical people at ABSA coming from advanced assessment who's going to support their technical needs, make sure that the systems are up and running, their technical problems are solved. So we sign that service level agreement. So it's just like an agreement between a service provider and then a customer. So now the client, if we don't meet our service level agreement, the client can take us to court or they can come back to us and says, okay, this is what we initially agreed on. This is the service that you said you are going to provide us. But look, you are underperforming or you are not meeting the agreed SLA. Right? So it's just like basically an agreement between a customer and then a service provider, stating what services are they going to provide. Okay, so contract meetings, that's what you might find here if we are talking about technical meetings. Okay, technical reviews and then project reviews, we looked at that, we explained this part, right? I don't want to go that again. Sandy also asked a question there and then we answered. We broke it down, the difference between technical review and then the project review. All right. Question number 2. Describe the following leadership styles used in meetings. I don't want to go through these. We have explained these, right? We have explained these. We broke it down. All right. Describe the use of the following decision-making processes used in meetings. Voting. Let's start with voting. Anyone wants to describe what that is when it comes to meetings?
Mr. Moyo.
Sure.
Yeah, I would like to try.
Okay, go ahead.
So do you see in most in the meetings, ne?
Yeah.
Where there is shareholders or maybe let's say we brainstorming something,
Yeah.
and then maybe individuals will bring their ideas, and then voting will vote. Maybe people will vote. Maybe for that certain, maybe for that certain idea. Maybe let's say someone raises an idea, and then we will vote who will go with the idea and who is against with the idea.
Yeah, so they'll be like, okay, who's for this idea, who's against, right? Just to find out an agreement on subject or an idea, right? Of which makes it makes the, especially like, let's say we have like maybe some of the people that are not for the idea, some are for the idea. So voting will help us to determine an agreement on a subject or an idea. So basically, that's what Sandile is saying, right? We have an idea that's on the table, and then we just want to find out how many people are for the idea, how many people are against the idea, and then we say, okay, let's vote, and then we find that we all vote them. What about consensus? Consensus. Anyone wants to try this one? Yeah, Kidibone?
I think consensus will have to do with like gathering information and like maybe when you when like a person is when you send like a person, okay, let's say when they send you to collect information about how many girls and boys are attending on the learnership. So I think you will have to write down the information and send it to your top management, something like that, I think.
Yes, and again, let's lean on the when we talk about consensus on this part, lean more on the decision-making process, right? Consensus can be used more like for what you just said now, determining maybe how many people are, how many girls are in that company and stuff like that, like say what do you call statistics and stuff like that. But for now, consensus it is just like for to achieve agreement on a topic, right? Courtney. Sorry, Courtney, you want to say something?
Maybe like if you do like a survey within like our group, and you can ask the learners which platform is better to do the online teaching, either Skype or Teams, and then we all take a vote, and then you round up your answers, and then we all vote that Teams is better, and we all agree that we'll use Teams instead of Skype, like something like that.
Yes, both your answers are correct. Thank you. And then just to summarize it, to achieve an agreement or on a topic, or just to find out how many people okay, the topic that you raised was how many people prefer Teams, how many people prefer Zoom and stuff like that. And then we do the calculation after that, and then we say, okay, the consensus. So people that are for these are this number, and then now based on the numbers of people that prefer Zoom, so we're going to go for Zoom. So we're just like trying to achieve an agreement on a topic, right? So thank you guys for that. What's the next one is criteria-based rating. Criteria-based rating. What is that? Courtney, sorry, my mic was off.
It's like where you have like a table with a checklist, and then like you say yes or no, and then like you sum up from their checklist on how good or bad whatever the situation may be.
Thank you. That's it, right? So we have a criteria-based rating, we have a table, right? And then we say, okay, based Kiribone?
Yes, adding to what Connie has just said, like in the assignment, we have a section where we are taking on the information based on what we have wrote, and we take if we have understood the assignment and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the criteria-based rating, right? So you're given a table and then you just like pick based on the criteria there. So used to rate an idea, right? Okay. And then ranking. Anyone wants to try a ranking? Ranking. So this one is used to rate and rank an idea or a concept, right? Ranking used to rate and then rank an idea. So we have like so many ideas that people won't be voted for, and then now we just want to rate or rank based on the data that was given. So ranking is used to rate and rank an idea or a concept based on numerous concepts that have been given. So you're ranking it and say, okay, this one will be, I just want to find out, because maybe people came in with like strong ideas or strong concepts, right? So you just want to rank out of all of them that we have, which one do you think is the best one? So you kind of like ranking that to go to find, okay, which one will be our first option, right? So that is more of the ranking part. Okay. And then paid comparisons. What do you think that is, paid comparisons? Okay, listen, no, we have been quiet, man. Like, what do you think is the paid comparison mean, like when it comes to decision-making processes? Okay, let me quickly finish this. Okay, paid comparisons used to measure the agreement between two ideas or concepts, right? Like similar to the ranking, right? Where you have like many strong ideas, and then you just want to find or rank so that you can pick the best out of all of them. So paid comparison used to measure the agreement between two ideas or concepts, right? You have like two strong ideas, but you just want to find the one that is best, the one that you're going to go with, and then you can use the paid comparison used to measure the agreement between two ideas or concepts that are strong, right? But you just want to find out which one is going to be the idea that we are going with, right? All right, let me see if I am almost done or shucks with number 4. All right, describe the appropriate situation in which, moving, we've gone with moving. Seconding, let's look at amending. What does that mean? So it says, describe the appropriate situation in which the following meeting conventions should be used. Moving, we explained what moving is, and then seconding, we did go through that. Now, I think voting, we have gone through voting. The one that we haven't gone through is amending. Anyone wants to try what is that amending? Courtney?
Maybe when someone gives maybe a solution to a problem, you find that it may be like 95% effective, and then the group will maybe amend that solution and make it 100% effective, and then everyone works with that.
Yep, it's just when a change is made, right? There was, as Courtney has given an example, right? So yes, we just like making a change to maybe to the previous idea that was given, and then we just like adding something to make sure that our idea becomes 100%. So amending is when a change is made. Courtney, your hand is up. You wanna add more on that?
No.
Okay. All right. Your hand was up. Do you wanna add on what Courtney has said, or you have a different answer for amending when it comes to Kelibone?
Oh no, Melissa, I just wanted to ask that is this question is it a formative a question or assertive, or are we still in a summative?
Yes, we're still on summative. It's question number 4. We just finished number 3, right? Now we are on number 4, yeah. So you see, like the moving part, says describe the appropriate situation in which the following meeting convention should be used. The moving, and then we have explained what moving is, right? And then we gave an example. And then secondly, was it Sandy who gave an example or someone? But on the group, we have already given an example. And then voting, we gave an example. Sandy, I think, is the one who gave an example on voting. Amending, Courtney has given us an example to the amending part. What does that mean? Like basically is when a change is made, and then Courtney gave us an example to when that change is made. Okay. All right. One more thing. Let's see what we have here at the bottom. All right. So assignment, technical meeting preparations checklist. What are the things that we need to write down or need to be on the checklist for a technical meeting preparation? So it says consider the specific information needs for a business. Push this to the side. Consider the specific information needs of the business as well as the organizational standard operating procedures and requirements. Liaise with key staff leaders in the organization to gather feedback and input regarding the planning, preparation requirements that is needed in order to effectively plan for and arrange a technical meeting in the workplace. So outcome, design your checklist below by recording all the checkpoints which should be included in the checklist below, including but not limited to the key criteria, preparations and planning points which needs to be addressed in a logical order. Present your checklist to your manager superior for approval. So basically, we're looking for a checklist that you need to create for preparing for a technical meeting. So what are the things that we need to have on our checklist when we're preparing for a technical meeting? What are the things that we need? Let's say we are planning on migrating our data from one company to another company. What are the things that we need to have in place that we need to have on our checklist before we go ahead or we start our meeting? This is a checklist, right? What are the things that we need to have on our checklist? So we say we have to migrate our data from, for example, we previously migrated our data from .cloud to Microsoft. So on any meeting, before we meet with these different clients, we need to have like things that we need to talk about, right? Checklist. So number one, it will be the people that we need to meet up with, right? Who exactly are we going to meet up with? Number one on the checklist, right? What do we call the people that are supposed to be part of the meeting? Okay, the meeting members, right? And then number two, what you need is you need to know the technologies that are going to be needed for that, right? And then the people, the type of skills that people need to have in terms of like us being able to migrate, successfully migrate our data from one data center to another data center, right? What else do we need to do checklist for this type of meeting? The agenda is sent out and then it's clearly stating what exactly are we going to be discussing on that meeting. What else do we need on our checklist? And then the other thing will be making sure that the people that are required for the meeting, they accept the meeting invitation, right? Outlook allows you to send out a meeting invitation, and then you will see it, okay, who has accepted the meeting, and then we have declined the meeting so that you can prepare, correctly prepare for the meeting that you're going to have, right? So checklist, these are the things that we're going to go through. So I don't know on your side, what exactly are you going to write down in terms of like preparing for this meeting? Okay, if there are no any questions, let me go to a business report. Okay. Conduct research into your own department to compile a short report, 200 to 300 words, that will explain the best methods which should be used to deal with communication needs of staff team members. Your report should include the following: specific communication needs, challenges faced by staff in your department, specific action steps which could be taken to deal with such problems. So you're looking at your department and then you write down the communication needs of your organization. What are the problems that are faced by your department? Luentel, what are the problems that are faced by your department? Just one problem that you think it needs to be addressed maybe by your department. What are the challenges that are faced by your department? So you write down those challenges and then also maybe come up with solutions, or what you call like your advice, what you think can be done to solve that specific problem, right? Nosipo?
Sorry, say it's a mistake.
Kachi, you said?
Okay. One of the problems that I faced with my department is the people don't want to wear masks.
The people that? Nosipo, missed that part. You said the problem is the people that are?
Say, my network is very bad.
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to say one of the problems that are faced by my department is that the people that they don't want to wear masks on this COVID thingy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so you will pick up any problem, right, for this assignment, and then write that problem, and then also try to come up with ideas on how you can solve that problem for maybe for your department. How else we can go further? How can we solve that specific problem? Kidibone, what's your answer? Your hand was up, Kidibone.
No, Melissa, I just wanted to tell you what she has said, because she was saying that her network is giving her problems. So I just wanted is.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. All right, let's see. So number 2, specific steps which could be taken to deal with such problems. So first, you outline the problem, write down the problems that you're facing, and then steps which could be taken to deal with the problems. And then look at, it must be from 200 to 300 words, your assignment. If it's less than that, then you need to go back and rewrite your assignment. It says consult with the relevant stakeholders to confirm the data information, blah, blah, blah. All right, most of you are working from home, so it will be difficult to consult the relevant stakeholders. All right, feedback and procedure. Assignment 2, attach your completed. Okay, that's the report, right, that you have completed. And then what else am I missing here? Okay, I think we're done with module 7. So tomorrow, we're going back to 12 o'clock classes. Kiribone, your hand is up.
Yes, Melusi, I wanted to ask you that, can you please give us maybe a solution on how would you tackle the issues when it comes to going to your stakeholders, and just what we just spoke about right now? How would you get that information to your stakeholders?
All right, let me go back to that assignment. Did I part? Where am I now? Essay formative. No. So let's use the example for the example that she gave, right? People that do wanna wear the mask, right? So what exactly can we do? First, we need to, before we even come up with like stronger policies and procedures that people need to follow, first we need to have like meetings with them and then maybe approach maybe their managers, talk to their managers and tell them, okay, it is a must for everyone to wear a mask if they are in this building or working close to anyone, right? It is a must. And then first step will be us going to maybe to their managers. And then number two will be like, maybe we need, if the people are not really following or not following the policy that we have given them or what we have said to them, let's write down a policy or a procedure, like a policy that will say, okay, if you don't do 1, 2, 3, right, what exactly will happen to you if you don't follow that? People, if there's no consequences to their actions, right, they always tend to do as they please. The reason you find out, okay, why people are not wearing the mask is just because they don't know, they know, okay, nothing will be done to them. But if we stipulate, if we write down, come up with a policy and says, okay, if you are found in advanced assessments premises not wearing a mask, this is what's going to happen to you, right? So you come up with what you call like a policy, something that will enforce that policy. Because most of the times, if there's a policy and then there's nothing that enforces that policy in any organization, people tend not to listen or follow that specific policy. So you need to find, if let's say only the policy is not working, now we have to look for ways of enforcing the policy. Now saying, okay, if you are found in these premises not wearing a mask, then this is what's going to happen to you, right? And then you will now start to see a change from people's behavior because there is something that enforces a policy. It's the same with the technical controls. If we have technical controls in our network, tell people, okay, you don't have to visit YouTube, you don't have to visit, let's say, Facebook while you're at work, right? If there's nothing that enforces that policy, then you find that most of the times people go to Facebook, people are on YouTube, people are watching movies or they're downloading movies online because there is nothing that enforces that, right? It might be a policy. Policy becomes useless if it's not enforced, like if there is nothing that supports it, right? So if we support that policy, then you find that most of the people in your organization, they'll start to heed to that request that you have made out or to that policy because they know, okay, if they download a movie or if they are found on any site that the company has specified to say, okay, you are not allowed to download movies while at work, you are not allowed to visit this site when you're at work, then if you are found visiting that site, then these are the things that that will happen to you, right? So if there's nothing that enforces a policy in any organization, people tend to do as they please. It might be a policy, but it's just useless because we know, okay, if I'm not wearing a mask and then Nosipo sees me not wearing my mask, there's nothing she will do to me. Then I will carry on not wearing my mask, right? So we need something that will enforce that. Same with the technical controls, technical policies. We need something that will enforce that. I don't know if Kidibone, that makes sense to you. So you might pick up.
I wanted
Say that.
I wanted to ask that would it be possible if I use maybe a typical example of maybe if let's say in a company you are if like let's say your contract say you need to be working 9 to 5 or you need to be like you say we need to be submitting work on time, then if we're not adhering to that policy, it means that we will be forfeiting the learnership. So is it okay if I use that example?
Yeah, it's okay. Because again, when it comes to, you just gave me another example, right? For submission of assignments, right? If the learners note, okay, if they tell me that assignment is due on Monday and then I don't submit on Monday, then nothing is done to me. You know that you want to have a problem. Like people will continue to tell you, okay, sorry, I was busy with this and that, I couldn't submit, because they know that there is nothing you're going to do to them. Like, so if there's a policy, but there's nothing that enforces the policy, then in the end, nobody's going to, the policy becomes useless. Right. I hope it answers your question, Kidibone, right?
Yes, thanks.
All right. I think we're done for module 7. So tomorrow we're back to 12 o'clock classes, whereby we're going to be looking at different technologies, right? tomorrow we're doing web development. So yeah, we're gonna be looking at that. So retro guys, make sure you submit my standing assignments. They are due today. HP guys, I want my assignment, module 5 and 6. I need those assignments by today. No, Sipo, did you submit my module 6?
Yes, I did.
Luentel, you still owe me module 5 and module 6. Luentel?
Yes, I must submit it. Yes.
Today, right? Luentel, you're submitting today, right? Okay, listen, when are you submitting my assignment?
I'm gonna submit today.
Today. Wait,
Yeah.
no. Which group are you under? Is it Stocks or another no? Stocks, is it you?
Yep.
Oh, when are you submitting my assignment?
Today.
Today. You have been quiet, bro. What's up with you? What's happening?
I'm fine.
Kidbon, you have a question?
Yes, Melissa, I wanted to ask that if we're having any problems in regards to scanning the assignments, would it be possible if we submit them physically by coming to advanced assessment?
Okay, yeah, it's fine, but advanced assessment, I will only need you to be there maybe just like for a few minutes. You just submit your assignments. I drop them at reception, tell them that they are you're under which group, and then just leave the premises because there's a limited number of people that needs to be at the building at a certain time. So if you can't scan, if you can't do all those things, just take all of your assignments, leave them at the reception, and then I will collect them from them. If you can't scan, yeah.
Oh, okay. It can be all of us, like, because you said we are from different groups, like some.
So exactly, yes. Any group, it can be any group, but you just have to make sure that you specify which group are you under there, and then Jonas will know where to put those assignments.
Oh, okay. Can we submit them tomorrow because of already today? Like.
No, it's fine tomorrow because yeah, it will be open at the office. But please just drop your assignments and then leave because the number of people that needs to be there, right?
Oh, so they do they count the number of people, like, so if
yeah, like not everyone is at the office, like, so you just have to be there, drop your assignments, and then you leave, yeah.
Or probably at 8 o'clock or 8:30, somewhere there.
Yeah, it's perfect. No, Sipo, are you at the office?
Yes, sir, I'm in the office.
Okay, so is it a lot of people there? All departments, are they back at the office or not?
No, we're working on a schedule.
On a schedule. So, okay, guys, when you submit your assignments, we're working on a schedule, right? So what you do is just go in and drop your assignments and leave the premises, right? I'll check your assignments from reception. And then there are some that need to print out maybe modules, right? You can go to advanced assessment. The printing department is open. You can talk to me, and then I'll send a message to them to print out that specific module. And they'll print it out for you. All right. So guys, I need a report, right? So what you can do now, we're done with the meeting, today's meeting. You can write your name on chat and then leave the meeting, right? I just need to know, I'm marking my register using Teams. So just write your name there and then I'll get the report once we're done. Kidibon, you have a question? I think I'm down on my side. Any questions before we close? So
yes.
Don't forget, yeah?
Oh, Melissa, I just wanted to say that okay, if probably I have written an assignment, then I don't have a laptop. So is it okay if I submit my assignment that is written on an exam pad?
Yeah, it's fine. That's why we provide like the exam page. If you don't have a laptop, yeah, it's fine. You can go for exam page. That's why on the first day we provide you with a pen and an exam pad, like just for you to write your assignments. But the HP guys, they know that the assignments must be typed out, right? Because they all have laptops.
Oh, okay. I was asking for myself because I wrote module 3 and 4 and 5 on the exam pad.
That's
So
perfect, fine.
oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. So guys, we're done for today's meeting. Write your name on the chat and then also write the company that you are from, right? Like if you are Retro, write Retro. Sandile.
Mr. Moyo.
So
kusasa sami ama-assignment.
If you can't scan them to me, you can go straight to advanced assessment, and then if you drop the assignments there by reception, I'll collect them from there.
So because angithi sele sazisenda ngeyithombe, so do we have to submit a hard copy?
Exactly, especially the ones about sending a tomb, like the pictures. Most of your pictures, I can't print them out. I can't access it because it's really difficult for me to see what's happening there, like what's written there. So you can go straight to advanced assessment and then just drop in your copies.
Okay, so because now today it's Monday, so is it possible to thumela Wednesday?
It's fine, yeah. Just make sure that I get them at advanced assessment when I go there, because I'm going there on Thursday.
I have module 1 and 2, so module 3 bazongiprintela phambili.
Sharp, no stress. Yeah, I'll ask them to print it for you.
Okay.
Live CIT, you had a question, your hand was up.